force to fight corruption. The two organizations will now conduct a survey at mapping out corruption risk areas. The event is currently going on in Nairobi. Let's listen in.
You can. At the end of the day, it's not about the laws, it's about what you want to do. We can overcome this. The issue here is not the law. The issue here, do you want to? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fatma, and let's give her a bigger hand. So you've had a bit of a personal story about why she got into this and also the message around why we should really avoid being the 10% on the one end and try and be the 10% on the other end if we happen to be the 80% in the middle. I was going to put that question on the Mentimeter, but I won't, to find out whether you're the 10% on one end or the 10% on the other end, to see what we have, what combination you have in this room. Our next speaker this morning is Mr. Joe Munene, who is the Managing Director of the Broadcast Division of the Standard Media Group. And he will also talk to us a little bit about the role of media in the fight against corruption. You've seen in recent weeks, months, the media has been very, very vocal a lot about what is going on, exposing as much as possible that there is happening, and there's a reason why. And Joe is going to tell us why the media is basically upping their game in terms of corruption. Let's give him a big hand. And I'll announce, obviously, you have 15 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Patrick. Good morning. Let me start by thanking the organizers for this conference. I think the fact that a conference like this is happening is a testament that there are very many good businesses and good business people who want to do things the right way. But I think it's also an acknowledgement that there are things that are wrong in society and the way that we are doing business. And the issue of corruption, I think, like Patrick has mentioned, it's gained prominence this year, but corruption has been with us for a long time. And just so that we are off on the same pivot, I know there was a question about if you get a gift at the end of the year, Christmas, and you accept that gift, is that corruption? And I'm looking forward to the answer to that question. I hope we'll do a vote on it. I hope we'll see the final outcome. The abuse of public power for personal gain, so that you can benefit yourself or a group of people that you owe allegiance to. And corruption occurs at the intersection of the public and private sector. I think we've just heard here how the private sector is the suppliers. Government tends to be on the demand side of things. And where there is an opportunity for corruption and the inclination for corruption, then you find that we have fraud and corruption happening. And one may ask, where did it all begin? Whether we look at our socio-cultural history, bureaucratic infrastructures that we have, the political environment, the leadership issues that we've heard about, societal values, whether our institutions are weak or whether they lack capacity. I think what is clear that the impact of corruption on this country and African countries is significant, not only in distorting the economic and social development, but also in fostering a situation where people compete on the amounts of bribes rather than on the quality and the pricing of goods and services. What is clear is that to win this fight, it has to be an all-inclusive effort, all the stakeholder groups. And I'm here to represent one of the key stakeholder groups, and that's the media. Now, the media plays a critical role, not only in raising public awareness, in pushing for good governance, directly in investigating and reporting incidents of corruption, but also in shining a light on the policies that are in place. And many times the problem is not even the incidents that are happening, but the policies and the legal framework. But like we've had, we have very many laws. So the thrust of the issue is the implementation and the adherence. And then what do we do once cases of corruption have been highlighted? We seek to expose, and I think the role that the media plays, not only in giving a platform for the various stakeholders, all the other stakeholder groups, including the business sector, to amplify their thoughts on how this issue can be tackled, but also in dealing with the government, the anti-corruption, the bodies that are charged with responsibility of fighting corruption. There's a close alignment in terms of how they succeed and how their work is happening. And at the same time, how the media is then able to hold those bodies accountable for the work that they are doing. So media not only seeks to expose incidents of corruption, but also to reinforce and legitimize the work of the anti-corruption bodies, the work of parliamentary committees, the policies that are being enacted. We pressure for the review of the laws and regulations that are in place to look at what better ways what better framework can be created around the issue of governance in our public offices. And so there's an oversight support to the bodies that prosecute and fight corruption that the media pushes and engenders. But for the media to be successful, I think it's clear that there is a certain framework that has to be in place. Number one, access to information, which is really a right for the citizens to know what is happening in the public offices. If we have an infrastructure that does not support openness, and I'll make a quote from former US President Woodrow Wilson, who said, "Everyone knows that corruption thrives in secret places and avoids public places. And we believe that it's a fair presumption that secrecy implies impropriety."